Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is 3 Cat Stitching, a channel primarily about cross stitch. It's called 3 Cat Stitching because I have 3 cats who usually in some capacity are involved in my stitching, whether they are making me stop stitching because they need attention, whether their hair is embedded in my cross stitch, or whether they make an appearance here on YouTube or on Instagram. They are the neediest pets I've ever had, and I don't hate that. I love them very much. My name is Erin. If I didn't say that already, I am 31. I live in Southern Ontario. I just had a glorious week off of school, and today was the first day back, and my brain. It was a lot for my brain. I don't do well with kind of transitioning from one thing to another. If there's a routine, I'm good. But the first day back, even though it was only a week, it's just hard to jump right back in and start learning again when you've had a week off. I did have a great week. I went about 8 hours north of me to spend time with some family, which was really beautiful. We drove, the drive was nice. And then I worked the rest of the week. But it felt like longer than a week, right? And so that was great. I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched or subscribed from my mid-year whip parade. That was very fun for me to film, very fun for me to kind of see the reaction and kind of jump back in. Also very fun for me to feel a little bit inspired to cross stitch again. So I don't have a ton of projects or progress. It was only, I think it will be 2 weeks tomorrow. Today is Monday, the 11th of August. So just about 13, 14 days. And despite having time off, I didn't really do too much stitching, but I thought I would make an update nonetheless before I forget what I've stitched and I kind of get sucked into the vortex of school again. I'll make a video now and then I can kind of just keep trudging along a little bit at a time. Today's video will have, like I said, those projects. I have 4 of them to show you. And then I have a little bit of concept idea of what I might be looking to jump to next. I have some haul, which is like accumulative over the past couple months. It's not a lot. It's just some patterns, some thread, some fabric, but I thought I would share it with you. And then I thought, because this video might not be that long, or because my videos might not generally be that long if I'm not doing a whole bunch of stitching, I thought I would kind of do a segment at the end where I highlight a couple of videos from Flosstube that I've really enjoyed, a couple of posts on Instagram that I really have enjoyed or I've gotten something very useful out of. So I have 2 of each today. Everybody that I mentioned will be linked in the description below, as well as my Instagram, links to their videos or to their Instagram respectively, links to wherever I've purchased anything. And if you have questions about the patterns or anything like that, please just drop a comment down below. You can also send me an email at 3catstitching@gmail.com should you wish. All right, 3.5 minutes. That's not too bad. Let's get into the stitching. So the stitch or the project that I have the most progress on is Harvest Season Cucumbers. It's by Owl Forest Embroidery. It's going to look like this. And the reason why I have so much progress is because I actually went back after my last whip parade and looked at WhipGo and my board and kind of what was called and what I would need to like work on. I don't necessarily want specific direction for my stitching all the time, but to kind of narrow down my projects of like what I want to do, like give me a parameter of focus was very helpful. And so Harvest Season Cucumbers was called once on my WhipGo board. And so that means I would in theory like to put 500 stitches on it before I can check that off. I didn't quite get to 500. This is what it looked like before. It was at 42.42%. I did get 425 stitches though. So now it is sitting at 50.51%. And this is what it looks like. So this is stitched on a 25 count, I think, Lugana in the color oatmeal or beige or something like that. I didn't actually track when I started this. It is stitched with a color and cotton conversion that Marjorie of Marjorie Made did for herself, and then she sent it to me and I was able to do it. So I kind of bounced around all over the place with just whatever color I had on my needle. So I finished this leaf here. I put all of this in to kind of get started on that pickle that or cucumber that goes up. I did some fill in, a little bit more of the like random doodads in the pickle jar. There's some stitches in here that I did. I still have to finish those. And then I pulled this border across as well. There's still some of this red color that goes sort of through these leaves, I guess. Maybe that's what they are. And I haven't done that yet, but I'm closing in on a finish of this side of the pattern. So the way it went into Pattern Keeper is like 2 pages. Even though the symbols are the same on each side, I had to input the thread numbers in on each side. So like this half is considered like a page completion, but I still have the other. It's like weird. Anyway, like the symbols don't carry over. I have to go to the other side of the pattern and click the symbol, even though it's the same thread. It's probably a me issue, not necessarily the pattern from Owl Forest. But having this be a little bit over 50% is very fun. And so I still have 75 stitches to do before I can mark that off of my Whip Go. But yeah, I know that I'll probably put more than 75 stitches in the next time I pick it up, because once I get started on that project, I'm happy to keep going. So following the theme of the Whip Go calls, 2 of the next 3 projects were also kind of on that theme. It's not the order that I worked on them, but because I'm talking about Whip Go, I'll probably just show these anyway. Strawberry Goose Witch, which is a pattern by Fine Frog Stitching, was also called one time. I'm not quite close to the 500 stitch mark, but I did put in 238 stitches. That's between actually yesterday and today. I am very excited about that. It went from 25.31% to 30.46% as per Pattern Keeper. I did zero out 2 colors, which between the 2 there was only 21 stitches, so it's not something really to write home about, but she's looking great. She's on I think an 18 count minty green fabric. I don't know what it's called. I don't know who it's from, but it's Ada. And I'm stitching with 2 threads. This is what she looked like before I put in the 238 stitches, and this is what she looks like now. So she actually is starting to look like a goose. So I put her beak in. These were the colors that I zeroed out. So this is 03, and then the 310. I did a bit more work in her sweater down here, and then I started on her little hat. I originally thought I was going to pull the border around, but I wanted to stitch on some pretty colors, and so that's what I did. She's looking great. I still have about 260-ish stitches left to check that off of my Whip Go board, but she's coming along. And 30% or 30.5% around is not so bad. She's in the hoop because I was just working on her, and I'll likely, if my kind of headache passes, I'll probably work on her a bit more tonight. But yes, very much loving her. The next pattern that I have is also in a hoop just because it's unruly and large. And that's Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. This is a pattern. I did some math. So it was on Whip Go one time. So again, 500 stitches. I didn't get close to 500 stitches in the past 2 weeks, but I did some math to see like how many stitches I would have to do to get it to like 25 or 33% by its Whip birthday, which is the end of October, I think October 22nd. It's a lot, so that I did it to the end of the year. And it is about 100 stitches a day, give or take, like 5 stitches, depending on the month, whether there's 30 or 31 days in it. And I did that for 2 days. So I got just 200 stitches in it. So that's what it looked like before the 200 stitches. I feel like I'm in an area where 200 stitches doesn't really go all that far because it's just a thick band. But this is where it is now. This is stitched on a 20 count Vintage Country Mocha Ada, 1/1 with 3799, and the animals are done in 501. So this part here is a pretty significant band. But if I were to come up here, like a thread of 80 stitches looks like it covers way more ground. And so I'm thinking that once I fill this part out here, I might kind of go back over here where things are a bit more spread out. So it might look like more is happening as I'm stitching it. I love this project. Currently sitting at 17.89%. So it's about 700 stitches for 1% of the project. So I still have quite a ways to go. I think it's like 6,000 stitches to get to 25%. Or maybe it's 8,000 stitches to get to 25%. So it doesn't seem like that much, but it kind of is a whole lot of stitches. And then the last pattern that I worked on, it wasn't called on my Whipco board, but it is the project that I'm closest to a finish on. I said in my whip parade that I thought I only had like 800 stitches or something left. That was wrong. I had over 1,000 stitches left to go, and I don't know how many I put in. I didn't keep track of that. This is First Snow Nature Walk by Sprouting Lupine. I don't remember what percentage I was at either. I didn't write that down because it wasn't on Whipco, but it is now past the 50% mark. And there's only 860 stitches left. So a finish is in sight, and it feels weird to be stitching winter pattern in like the heat of August. This is where it was before. And this is stitched on a 25 count 1/1, again, random beige mushroom, I think Lugana fabric. And this is where I am at now. So I put in the branch. I almost finished this bird. Did some snow and did part of the red berries. So there's still a little bit of that bird that needs to be done. The rest of the berries are deeper red color, a lot more snow, and then a final branch with a final bird on it. But we're getting there. And this goes way faster than I think it does. I put in quite a few stitches quite quickly. So yeah, hopefully I'll be zeroing in on a finish sometime soon. And geez, I certainly hope so, because I started that in January of this year with the hope of finishing it in January of this year, and I have not done that. So now that's basically all of the stitching that I've done, but I'd love to show you what I hope to work on in the next couple of weeks. I did put like 30 stitches into this pattern, but I didn't get very far. This was the pattern that I took up north with me, thinking that I would do some stitching. It's Black Vintage Sampler by Owl Forest. I was hopeful to get some work on it because it was called on my Whipco twice. So I would need 1,000 stitches in it if I want to clear both of those blocks. Like I said, I only did like 30 stitches. Sorry, there's a paper bag that my cats are deciding is the right time to sit on. This is stitched 2/1 on an 18 count antique Ada with DMC 310. And this is where I got to. So this is where it is. Not much different than the whip parade, but I was trying to find a way to make this carriage something that was fill-inable, so that I could stitch it in the car because it was like an 8-ish hour drive. But the carriage is not fill-inable. It's very detailed, and so it didn't really work out for me. I did put some more stitches in the wheel, and then I tried to come across, and I was like, that's not really going to work. So yeah, I think 40-ish, 30-ish stitches went into it, not very much at all. And I am hopeful to kind of keep pulling this out and doing some more work on it. Because I do want to get those 1,000 stitches done. Also, this one's whip birthday. It's 3-year whip birthday. I started this in 2022 because I was curious after my whip parade when I started all these things. I started this on September 13th, 2022. And so it's coming up on its 3rd birthday real quick. And I'm only just over 50%, 52%, I think. And so there's literally no way I could finish it by September. But I want to put more work in it because I want it to be closer by its whip birthday. But who knows? I might just get squirrel brain and do anything else. The next thing that I do really want to work on is Fairy Garden by Blackbird Designs. When I pulled this out for my whip parade, I wanted to work on it, but then I got distracted with the WhipGo stuff. So I haven't made any progress, but this is where it is. This is stitched on a 20 count coffee tea dyed Ada, and it has Classic Colorworks and the Gentle Art thread conversion that my friend Helen did. So I want to get back to this. Every time I show this and I look at it, I'm just blown away by how stunning it is. Her colors are amazing, and I want to get more work on it because there's a lot of stitching left, but it stitches up so fast and it stitches up like a dream. So I would love to get to that too. And so me wanting to stitch all these patterns from like paper patterns and not pattern keeper is an interesting development because I can't keep necessarily track of how much I'm stitching. The other thing I want to finish, hopefully by the next time you see me, is from the 365 Designs Cross Stitch All Through the Year by Sam Hawkins. This is a book I found at the thrift store. This is the pattern I am stitching. I haven't put any work in it, but this is where it is. I'm stitching this on plastic canvas. This is 2/2 with pretty decent coverage. So I don't know exactly what count it is. Maybe it's 18. Maybe it's bigger than that. I'm not sure. But I just have to do his head and the back stitch. So hopefully the next time you see this, it'll be done. And I can figure out how I'm going to finish it. Part of me wants to stitch this backwards and then like put them together so I don't have to deal with like putting stuff on the back because there is kind of this empty space. But I don't know that I want to stitch it again right away. So we'll see. So those are my plans. Hopefully those are the things I'm stitching on by the next time you see me. Maybe with some others. But now I want to show you my haul. So a couple of things that I'm really excited for. I don't know what to show you first. I purchased this is how long ago things were purchased. So back in July, I guess July isn't really that far ago or that long ago, but I did purchase the Just Cross Stitch summer edition, I guess. And I'll show you a couple of the patterns that I bought it for. So this is a pattern by Cute Embroidery by Kate. It looks like this. I thought maybe I could make each of these drinks like a keychain instead of just stitching them all together. The Lola Crow cross stitch, not Lola Crow, the Sprouting Lupine Summer Edition is in here. The other thing that I wanted to stitch, this is a design by Vanessa Timko. It's some skate ornaments, and then you tie them together with the laces, which I think is cute. I have my aunt said I went to go visit. They play hockey, or they played hockey. They started a league in their city, so I really want to, make them something. Although I've just kind of decided I may make them a bag for their pickleball equipment with pickleball pattern, like the paddle, a pattern on it. I don't know. It's lofty ambitions for someone who has no time to stitch. That might be something that happens next year. The other pattern is Blueberry Harvest is in this one. And so that's what this looks like. So I'm really excited about this one. And then the other magazine that I purchased was the 2025 Halloween Just Cross Stitch. There are some really great patterns in here, so I'll just hold this up. I'm sure people have done flip throughs of this already. This one is cute. I like this one as well. This one is cute too. There's a ton of patterns in here. If I find a flip through video, I will leave it linked below if you want to see that. I went to Millions of Stitches, which is a local-ish, Canadian at least, fabric and thread distributor through Etsy. Because the last time I spoke to you in April, before my whip parade, I wanted to try higher count fabric. And so I actually ordered higher count fabric. So at least I know what it is, because a lot of the higher count fabric that I have in stash is unlabeled, or I picked it up at a freebie table, or I purchased it from somebody on like Facebook Marketplace where the ad said what it was, but it didn't come labeled or anything. So I never really know what exactly I'm stitching on. So I have a 32, a 36, and a 40 count piece of fabric. So this is 32 count Lugana in the color Soft Ivory. So it's not a particularly big piece, but it's good enough to practice on. None of these are very big pieces because I just wanted them to practice stitching like 2/2 or whatnot. And then I have a 36 count Edinburgh Zweigart in the colorway Flax. So it's a bit darker than that, but I'm kind of losing the light. It's setting a bit here. And then I just got Newcastle White in 40 count. So kind of maybe boring fabric choices, but I don't want to get anything too fancy or too crazy until I'm confident stitching. These are just things to practice on. And so I have a number of small patterns that I could easily just kind of start whenever I feel the desire to practice. The next thing that I have is also a Canadian floss dyer. The cool thing about this is that she also uses natural dyes to dye these. So the colors are not very bright, but they are beautiful. This is her Etsy or her website. I will leave a link to both below. It's called Vera's Stitching Corner. She also has an Instagram. They are beautiful. So I got two things. I got an apricot thread pack, which is 3 different shades stitched with or dyed. Here, I'll put them on my fabric so you can see. So this is what they look like. Beautiful. I'm so excited to stitch these. And then I also just got another pack of just assorted colors. You can, on her website, you can purchase specific thread colors, and she does have quite a wide range of them. But you can also grab like a $15 mystery pack, or maybe it's $30, but you get 15 skeins. I can't exactly remember. But I'll show these to you again, and I'll tell you the names. So this one is Rustic Rubia. And then this one is called Apricot Rubia, this one here. And then this one is called just straight Rubia. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But the other ones that I purchased, so this is Yellow Onion. It's just this, it's coming off on camera a little bit brighter than it is, but it's a bit more subtle. Like if I put it next to this one, maybe that helps a little bit. And then I have Henna Rubia. Looks like this. Beautiful. This is a mystery die. It's a mystery die 014. So I don't know if she doesn't know what she used to dye it or whatnot, or if it's just part of a pack. But it's beautiful. And then this one is Espresso Quabracho. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'll put that there so you can see it. And it's just this dark color. There is a pattern. It's a free pattern on Owl Forest's website, and it's just this windmill. And I was thinking of using one of these two colors to practice on like this fabric, the 36 count, just to see how these stitch up. I mean, they feel really nice. There's slight variegation in all of them, but some of them are more fully colored like the whole way through without variegation. But yes, I'm very, very excited to use these. I didn't purchase them with a pattern in mind. I just thought naturally dyed Canadian dyer, like I need to support. And so I did. And I purchased these, I think, back in June. But I will leave a link to her website and her Etsy down below if you'd like to go check it out. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the YouTube videos and the Instagram posts that I am really loving. Okay, so 2 videos that I've really loved recently were Abby from Pansy Stitches. She did a video, like a Flosstube extra, about the pattern she's going to be UFOing. I think that that's a very interesting video because I don't think a lot of people talk about UFOing very much. UFO, if you don't know, is if you're not finishing a project, it's going to be an unfinished object, so you don't continue stitching it. Her video is interesting. She had a lot of projects that she was almost done, that she's just not interested in stitching anymore. And I think as we grow as stitchers, it might be difficult to process how maybe the patterns that you once loved you don't love anymore, or they're not your style anymore. And you sink a lot of time and energy into projects. And I think it's a really beautiful lesson in like letting go if you're just not interested in stitching anymore. Her video is great. I really enjoyed watching it. It kind of made me think about my own projects and the ones that I haven't stitched on in a long time. You know, I just did my whip parade, and there are projects that if I were to continue, I don't know that I'd necessarily be happy to do so. And so it was a very interesting video in terms of reflection on myself. And I really just like, I thank you, Abby, for making that video. Because there are, I'm sure, a lot of cross stitchers or floss tubers who do those videos, but not that I have seen recently. So if you have a video or you know of a Flosstuber who's done a video like that, please leave it down below for me. I would love to go watch it just as I continue to kind of ponder on that idea. And then Megan from the Seattle Stitcher, she had her husband rank her cross stitch projects from like whether he didn't like them to he did like them. And I thought that that was a very fun way to kind of add a little bit of levity or laughter into the cross stitch community. Megan is a light. She is a ray of sunshine, I find, in our community here on Flosstube and on Instagram. And to just have a video that was just fun be online, I think was really nice. And again, personally, like it was kind of just what I needed. It popped up just when I needed it most. And so again, thank you to Megan and to her husband, Daniel, who was brave and came on Flosstube and let us all know how he feels about cross stitch. I think that that was great. Those two videos were just very bright spots for me the past couple of weeks. And so, yeah, I love those videos. Again, if there's a video that you know that's similar to what Megan did, I think she mentioned the Runner Stitcher had a video like that that I have to go and watch. And that was her inspiration. But any other videos kind of like that where it's just light and, you know, progress and whip parades and everything like that are fun and exciting. But I'm really curious and interested in people who are doing things kind of off the beaten path of a Flosstube video. And I really, really enjoyed both those videos. They will be linked down below if you haven't seen them or you would like a little break from regular kind of crazy worldness. And then the two Instagram posts or Instagrammers, we don't really have a name for people who do floss Instagram, cross stitch Instagram. We should come up with one, I think. Either way, I have two of them. Paper Crane Stitches, her name is Catherine. We met in real life at a stitch-in a few years ago. She's a wonderful person, and we have a lot in common. She is a prolific stitcher. Her Instagram is amazing if you haven't seen it. She stitches so beautifully and all of her finishes are glorious and I am just amazed by her all of the time. Anyway, she recently started a pattern that I have literally gone to the Owl Forest embroidery website for like once a week to look at. It's Blueberry Summer, and her stitching, again, so beautiful. I believe she's doing it with the Owl Forest threads plus a couple substitutions. But I commented on that photo and I said that if she were to do an update anytime soon on it, I would likely hit buy on the pattern and get everything together to start it myself, because the temptation when you see somebody start stitching one of your favorite designs is so high. And I do want to start it before the end of summer. I'm like that much closer now because of that. I will have asked Catherine if I could put a photo of her Instagram post on screen here so you can see it, but I will leave a link to her Instagram, like I said, if you want to see some beautiful, magical cross stitch, because she's just amazing. The other person that I want to highlight, their Instagram handle is StitcherX by FLE, or I'm not exactly sure how to say that. I just stumbled across their Instagram today. They used to be a pattern designer, but now they've kind of abandoned that. They've done a lot of really beautiful like historical artwork patterns. They're all for free on their website now. They're not doing it as a business anymore, but they've kind of devoted their stitchy life to stitching the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. I don't know where they got the pattern from. I was doing a little bit of research. It seems that there's a person in the UK who I think designed and stitched the pattern themselves, and I think maybe if you contact them, you might be able to get it. I don't really know how that works, and I don't want to make an assumption. But this is the largest cross stitch pattern in the world, or at least it was when the article that I read was written. And it's 1.9 million stitches. And on Instagram, we get an update every day. I think they're on day 270 of stitching this, and they're like almost 1,000 hours in to stitching. And I think that it's just a very interesting project. Having just come across it, I'm excited to kind of follow the journey and see like where it goes and how it comes to be. I am amazed at the tenacity. I am amazed at the like ability to stitch on one thing for all those days in a row so far, and just the dedication that that would take. If you'd like to follow them and their journey, again, all links to everything down below. I'm curious if you know of anybody else in the cross stitch world that is just like guns blazing, one thing, one big giant project. And I'm just so curious because there are people who are monogamous stitchers, right? But maybe they don't necessarily post or are part of the internet version of cross stitch, because I feel like we're very, a lot of us have a lot of projects or we're not monogamous stitchers. And so I'd be curious if you know of any people who are doing something similar, and maybe we can boost those people up and see what it's like on the other side. Somebody who picked up 4 projects in a week, you know? Anyway, I'm really happy I ended the video with this gush of love for the community because that made me feel a lot better. I was feeling a bit cranky about going back to school today, and now I just love the cross stitch community and I'm happy about it. So that is all I have for you today. Still managed to be almost 40 minutes, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a great Monday, and yeah, things are kind of not so great in the world right now, but hopefully you can find some joy in your stitching. And I hope that you are happy, or as happy as you can be, but more importantly, I hope that you're healthy and I hope that you're safe. And I will hopefully be back in a few weeks with some more stitching to show you. Otherwise, I will be under a mountain of schoolwork with no stitching in sight. But either way, you can follow me on Instagram, like I said, or we can chat if you want to send me an email, anything like that. Thank you so much. Yeah, take care, guys.